Claire went to visit her boyfriend Harrison, but what she saw broke her heart. He was in bed with another woman. She stood there in shock, tears welling in her eyes, before quietly walking away. But Harrison didn't even care to follow her. He simply went back to bed with the woman he was cheating with. Claire was shattered. The man she loved and was supposed to marry in just a few days had betrayed her. Her best friend, Tasha, tried to comfort her, telling her to forget about Harrison. But how could she? Their wedding was around the corner. Days later, Tasha took Claire out to a small shawarma hotel to help her relax. Claire saw a young man behind the counter, tall, humble, and handsome. His name was Brian. The moment she looked into his eyes, something stirred in her heart, and as Brian looked at her, he felt it too. As Brian served them, a man began harassing one of the female customers. Without hesitation, Brian stepped in to defend her. He calmly handled the situation and advised the woman to find a better man, one who wouldn't raise his hand on her. Claire couldn't stop admiring him. His courage, his kindness, everything about him drew her closer. That night, she couldn't stop thinking about him. She told Tasha she was beginning to develop feelings for Brian, even though she had just met him and was still nursing a heartbreak. Tasha advised her to be careful. Love can heal, but it can also hurt. A few nights later, Claire went to Brian's shawarma shop. It was closing time, but when Brian turned around and saw her, he smiled and reopened just to make her a special shawarma. They talked for hours, laughing and sharing stories, until Claire finally offered to drop him home. From that night, their bond grew stronger. Soon, Tasha began to question the nature of their relationship. "Claire, you're still engaged to Harrison," she reminded her. But Claire confessed that she was falling in love with Brian, and she was sure he felt the same way. When Claire visited Brian at his small apartment, he told her about his life. His mother had died when he was young, and his father lived in the village. He showed her his transcript, full of A's, explaining how he paid his school fees from the shawarma business. Claire was touched and offered to support him financially, but Brian politely refused. That night, as emotions took over, they shared an intimate moment that sealed their love. When Claire returned home, she found Harrison sitting with her parents. She lied that she had been with friends, but Harrison didn't believe her. He barged into her room and demanded to know where she had been. In his rage, he even ordered her to take off her pants so he could confirm if she had slept with another man. Claire was disgusted and terrified. Meanwhile, Brian's friend Karchi warned him that Claire was out of his league. The whole campus knew she was engaged to the professor's son, Harrison. But Brian refused to give up. Days later, Harrison proposed to Claire publicly. She stood frozen as he slipped the ring onto her finger. The video went viral, and even Tasha was shocked. "Why didn't you say no?" she asked. Claire broke down, explaining that her father would disown her if she refused. He needed the marriage for business reasons. She revealed the truth. Harrison's father was a powerful politician who controlled the mining licenses in their region. Claire's father wanted access to those minerals, and the only way to secure the deal was for Claire to marry Harrison. When her father later gave her documents transferring a company into her name, she realized he was trying to buy her compliance. Heartbroken, she ran to Brian and told him everything. He begged her to run away with him, but she confessed her father had taken her passport until the wedding. Still, Claire invited Brian to a party, thanking him for being her strength. But when Harrison arrived and saw them talking, he dragged Claire away. Later, Harrison showed up at Brian's shawarma shop with another woman, shamelessly kissing her in public. Brian was disgusted. This was the same man about to marry Claire. When Claire's father gave her another company to convince her, that was her final breaking point. She told her mother the truth. Harrison had been cheating on her and abusing her. Claire finally left home to live with Brian. Furious, her father froze her accounts and removed her from all company positions. When he discovered her hideout, he confronted Brian and threatened to frame him for kidnapping. He even offered Brian 10 million shillings to reveal where Claire was, but Brian refused. Eventually, the police arrested him and tortured him until he gave up Claire's location. Claire was forced back home against her will. Her father resumed wedding plans immediately. Meanwhile, Brian's ex, Martha, reappeared, pretending to comfort him, but secretly hoping to win him back. Later, Harrison brought Claire to Brian's shop to humiliate him, just as Martha walked in, hugging Brian and calling him babe. Claire's heart broke all over again. As the wedding approached, both Claire and Brian couldn't sleep. Claire's mother visited her with a wedding gown, but when she saw her daughter's tears, she encouraged her to stand up for herself. She promised to support her. That same night, Martha kissed Brian, and that was when Claire walked in. Seeing Martha in Brian's shirt crushed her. When Brian ran after her to explain, Claire revealed the terrible truth. Her father had threatened to kill Brian's father if she didn't go through with the wedding. Brian, shaken, told her to forget about him, that he couldn't risk losing his father. Claire left heartbroken. Moments later, while driving home, Claire got into a terrible accident. A witness answered her phone and called Brian, who rushed to the scene and took her to safety. But when her father found him, he warned Brian to stay away forever. Days later, Claire's mother showed her husband news articles exposing Harrison for abusing women. She told him their daughter couldn't marry such a man. When Harrison came to see Claire, she confronted him about his abuse. In anger, he tried to hit her, but she sprayed him with pepper spray. Her parents rushed in, and her father finally told Harrison to get out and called off the wedding. Weeks later, Claire's father invited Brian to their home. Claire was shocked to see him, but her father apologized for everything, for the pain, the threats, and the way he had treated them. He even offered to pay for Brian's final semester and welcomed him into the family. On Claire's birthday, Brian organized a surprise party. As she walked in, overwhelmed with joy, he went down on one knee and proposed. Claire said yes, and her father blessed the union. He told Brian that he would teach him how to run the family business before officially passing it on to him. At last, Claire had found love, not in wealth or power, but in the heart of a humble man who truly cared for her.